Well, the Bipartisan SAVE Act. Bipartisan. Yes, some Democrats were smart enough to realize that if they didn't get on board with this, their political futures would be over. Meanwhile, a lot of Democrats are committing suicide on the hill of Abreu Garcia today. That's fine. Die on that hill, that political hill. Tell America you want MS-13 gang bangers and wife beaters to come back to America. That you want them to be your neighbors. Democrats, please repeat that every single day. And have Jasmine Crockett holler it and have Chris Van Hollen yell it. I support your efforts. Free speech, which is the beauty of free speech right there. Continue to prove to the world that you're complete idiots. That you are complete idiots. The SAVE Act, by the way. On the heels of President Donald Trump's landmark executive order to protect the integrity of American elections, the U.S. House passed bipartisan legislation to help codify its central citizenship verification requirement. First passed by the House in 2024, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, the SAVE Act, would amend the National Voter Registration Act to require that states obtain documentary proof of U.S. citizenship from individuals and verify their identities in person when they get registered, and not just online. You know, there's a lot of this in-person verification going on. It's also happening at the Social Security Administration. Ken Cuccinelli, National Chairman of Election Transparency Initiative, joins me now. Ken, good to have you back.
Hey, it's good to be with you. Good morning, and appreciate you taking up this important subject.
Well, it is important. Now, where are we in the process? Give me an update here. It got out of the House. Where is it in the process?
So it got out of the House. 4 Democrats voted for it. 5 voted for it last September when it was first proposed. So I was surprised to see the number go down. I have to say I was disappointed in that. And those Democrats defended their votes, basically saying, look, it's just common sense to require proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections, which is all we're saying at the Election Transparency Initiative. So now it goes over to the Senate, and there is a question whether it'll go to committee or not. It may go straight to the Senate floor. That's being debated behind closed doors by senators. Mitch McConnell leads the Rules Committee, and he would like it to come to his committee. But there is also, as I said, discussion about voting on it straight away right on the Senate floor. So,
I mean, in fairness, would Mitch McConnell know it came to his committee or not?
Well, yeah, no, I hear you. And I will say elections is something he's been pretty good on, but not necessarily securing them. He's more interested in campaign finance over the years. That's Mitch McConnell's
Yeah, financing his own campaigns. I mean, let's be honest here. Financing his own campaigns, he's been concerned about. The rest of it, not so much. Here's the question, because I am baffled by Senator Chris Van Hollen, for example, running down to El Salvador to demand the release of an MS-13 gang member who apparently beat his wife regularly, was stopped by state troopers in other states in what appeared to be, I think it was Tennessee he was stopped, in what appeared to be human trafficking of people from the Texas border, right? So when it comes to all of that, I do not expect Democrats to vote for the SAVE Act in the United States Senate. So then they're going to filibuster to say that they prefer that nobody has to prove that. I mean, these are the political hills these people are willing to die on. Ken, I just, me personally, I don't understand it, because the American people, this is a 90-10 issue. It really is.
Yeah, Steve, I agree with that confusion. I really thought, so look back to September, 5 Democrats voted for this in the House. I really expected to see 40 of them, not 4, vote for it this go around. I thought they'd learn lessons from the last election where Donald Trump stomped them on immigration, just stomped them on immigration and on security of our nation, our border, and frankly, our elections. And they don't appear to have learned any lessons, and they don't know how to proceed forward. So yes, you're right. It's going to be hard to get the 7 Democrats to get over the filibuster threshold. So then we're going to have to start asking our Republican senators to attach the SAVE Act to must-pass legislation, something like the annual defense bill that every senator wants to vote for. But I'm not convinced our Republicans will do that. So I'd urge all your listeners to contact their Republican senators and say, look, if you can't get this over the 60 vote threshold, we need you to put it on must pass legislation so we can finally get the security of our elections reserved to U.S. citizens. And that just doesn't seem like too much to ask.
And that's why when you have elections for open Senate seats in places like Minnesota, New Hampshire, and here in my home state of Michigan, those seats are critical for the Republicans if you can win one or two. And look, I'm disappointed that Chris Sununu is not running in New Hampshire. He's not exactly exchanging Christmas cards with Donald Trump, but he'd be better than the alternative. And once again, he bows out of this race, a race that he would surely win. It's odd to me there as well. Republicans need to band together to push through common sense, and because the Democrats will band together for stupidity. They'll band together behind an El Salvadoran gang member.
Do it. Yeah, it's incredible. And, they didn't learn anything from the last election. Politically, I'm grateful for that. But when it comes to making America a better, safer, more secure place, they have a role to play here, and they're abandoning their responsibilities.
Well, Ken, in fairness, so are a lot of the Republicans. If they don't attach this to a must-pass piece of legislation, like you said, I mean, is there money involved? Could this be part of the one big beautiful bill? I don't know if the SAVE Act would qualify to be attached to one big beautiful bill that's going through. I mean, because when it comes to reconciliation, there are rules, and some things would apply and some would not. Would this qualify?
Yeah, I think you'd have at least a few Republican senators who would say, "Oh, no," and they'd gnash their fingers, their teeth, and rub their fingers together, and they'd be all worried about the parliamentarian who was an immigration lawyer, by the way. The Senate parliamentarian was a left-wing immigration lawyer before she was the parliamentarian of the Senate. So you can guess how she's going to rule. And they treat those rulings as gospel. And so they literally turn the issue over to a former left-wing immigration attorney to decide whether this should be part of the bill. And Republican senators let her do it. They let her do it. So they're going to have to put it as part of must-pass legislation, or likely we're never going to get this security for our elections across the country.
And we got to have it.
And this would be a big boon.
We got to have it. It's interesting that when they say there was never any illegals that voted, here's 2 dozen that voted. Well, it was only 2 dozen. You said none. First you said none, and now, it's only 2 dozen that voted. You see, they don't care about the truth. It has always been the plan, Ken, to allow illegal aliens to vote in this country. That has always been the plan. You see it in New York City. You see it in California. This has always been the scheme. And they're trying to get there.
You don't have to look. You don't have to look to the states. Look at H.R. 1 that they tried to ram through back in 2021 and 2022. It had 3 provisions that are related here. 1, it mandated that all adults, note I say adults and not citizens, that come in contact with state databases be dumped onto the voter rolls.
That's
automatically
right. Number 2, got to get this quickly.
Number 2, they removed penalties for any non-citizen voting who is registered in that fashion.
And number
3, they created a new crime that was directed at state and local officials that if you interfered with someone's right to vote, very vaguely worded,
then
you're
the criminal.
You're
the criminal. Ken Cuccinelli, National Chairman, Election Transparency Initiative, up against a hard break. Keep sounding the alarm, Ken. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good to talk to you.